Can you just tell us about Running Scared?
Well, Running Scared started as a television serial, and I subsequently wrote the book of it. The idea first came to me because when an aunt of mine died, my brother and I, when we were sorting out her effects, between us, we took some things that, a few things that we thought we'd like to keep, and I kept an old musical box, the sort that you wind up and it plays a tune using those little roller with, just like any musical box, a Swiss musical box, only quite a large one. And it struck me that there might be a story there, something, that could have a double meaning in this musical box, a clue. The idea really for the pivot point of the story came with almost the denouement, with the meaning of this musical box. I started from there and worked backwards. Why would anyone want to leave a clue in a musical box? And what sort of clue would it be? So I started with that. And I put up an idea for a story then to Paul Stone, who was the children's drama head at BBC, and he liked it, and I developed the story with Paul. I would drive nights after I'd finished in school here. I would drive round to Elstree Studios, where they'd perhaps just finished filming Grange Hill or whatever. The car park there, incidentally, was the old playground for Grange Hill on filming days. And I'd go in and Paul and I would work on this. And I came up with a 6-part serial, heavily influenced by Paul, which was Running Scared. And because of where I was and what I was doing, working in a big multicultural school, wanting to reflect what life was like in the East End of London, and in all sorts of aspects, and that became the story of Running Scared. I was involved with it very heavily because Marilyn Fox, dear Marilyn Fox, who directed it, who died much too young, Marilyn Fox invited me to the auditions for the girls, the 2 central girls. One is a Sikh girl, the other is an indigenous girl from the East End, and so I was involved in it in small ways, and of course with the script in every way. So that became the 6-part serial. Marilyn had a coup because she persuaded Kate Bush, or Kate Bush's agent, to let her use Running Up That Hill as the going behind the titles, and that was a big pull on its own, which was fantastic. Then after the film was finished, or the series was finished, I decided to write the novel of it, because I thought it was a good story. Also, commercially, it would be good to have a tie-in book to go with the series. So I wrote that, and immodestly I'll say that it wasn't too much of a hack job, because it was actually shortlisted for the Carnegie Medal as a book. So I was very happy with what happened with Running Scared.
Excellent. And it was all filmed based on local knowledge?
Yes, it was all local knowledge. It was my knowledge of where I was working, my local knowledge of places like the Woolwich Ferry, which was a great place to film, both on the ferry and with the tunnel under the Thames there, which was, I think it was quite difficult to get permission to film there. On the day I saw the filming going on, Marilyn actually held up the ferry going from Woolwich across to North Woolwich. She had that ferry held up in midstream while she finished getting the shots she wanted of Paula running off the ferry that had landed at North Woolwich and running up the slope of the ferry approach into the arms of a policeman. And Marilyn stuck to her guns, and although there was some hooting in the background from cars that were waiting on the ferry to disembark, she actually kept it all going until she got the shot she wanted, and then allowed the ferry to continue its business.
Did you have to do much research about the Sikh church and the Sikh temples and that sort of thing?
Well, I knew quite a bit about it because I was working in a school with a lot of Sikh children. A teacher on the staff, Riyat Singh, was a good friend of mine, and I'd been to Gurdwaras and so on. So there was some research required, but I knew quite a bit about it anyway because of my job and my social contacts.